Okay, well, we got a few more people that are still coming in here, but let me go ahead and get started. I definitely don't want to run over the time. Again, thank you so much for joining us today for our annual member meeting. Dennis Smeltzer, president of TSANet, along with Paul Esch. Paul and I are going to kind of tag team you guys today. We're going to run through some stuff. And basically what we did was we kind of broke this down a little bit into what's happened in 2020, where we plan on going in 2021. But again, you know, I go back to this thing that this is an organization that is your organization that we started back in 1993. And if you really look at this, this is actually a requirement of our bylaws that we go in and we update the membership on exactly what's going on. So a little bit more emphasis. I know I have a tendency to look at TSANet a lot of different ways, but one of the ways that I had to look at it is that we are an organization and we're a 501c6 not-for-profit, and we have to operate under our rules and our bylaws. Anytime, and you're going to see at the end of this, that you'll have the opportunity to come in and ask any questions. We don't expect to do any voting today or anything like that, so I didn't send out anything. I would like to, however, if you've got any questions from the business aspect of TSANet to what Paul's going to get into as far as the strategy, to either email us or you can also email the board, and that's board@tsanet.org. And obviously, as an organization, we have a elected board of directors that Paul and I both report into. So what we're going to do here today is we're going to, again, talk about a little bit what we did in 2020. Obviously, an interesting year for everybody, right? And then we'll share, Paul's going to really get into a little bit of the detail of what we plan on doing in 2021. And again, if you got any questions, there's the chat menu. Go ahead and put anything in there. We make sure that we address it before the end of the meeting today. So here, what I want to do is kind of give you a little bit of a business update, right? This is kind of the membership, and this is really kind of cool in a way. I mean, I've been with the organization since it started, and this is an all-time high for us. We are approaching 800 members. So as you all are probably aware, and there's a lot of limited members versus the open group members, the reason we've grown up, and we've got a slide on this, is talk about limited membership and partner programs and things like that. But that's really taken off, and I think what it does is it does show the need to have that collaboration mechanism in place. And TSANet provides a very good way for you to do that, a very streamlined way for you to do that. We've obviously made some things with TSANet Connect, which Paul's going to get into, but I think that the key of this here is the membership is growing and it's at an all-time high. And I suspect that it will continue to do that. Again, a lot of it through the limited members, but we also gain a lot of members that go into the basic and the premium membership through the limited membership as well. So you can kind of break it down, see it year by year here, and pretty good jump even in 2020. And I suspect that we'll continue to see that go as members more strategically position TSANet as a collaboration mechanism within their organizations. Okay. As far as the finances, we didn't want to get into a bunch of detail on all the different ledgers and all that, but I do think from the business aspect of it, for you to understand what we did in 2020 and what we plan on doing in 2021, give you some idea, we're around $800,000, $900,000 is our budget. So obviously for a lot of you, nothing close to what you're used to dealing with. But from an organization perspective and being a not-for-profit, we actually have a requirement to go back to the IRS and show that we're putting our money back into the membership. It doesn't mean that we can't have a reserve, and we do. But from a financial perspective, the organization is really in pretty good shape. I think we did a lot of the things that your companies did this year, which was, hey, we're not traveling anymore, so let's funnel that money into some other stuff. And we funneled that into development of the TSANet Connect product and some of the security stuff, and Paul will talk about that. The revenue, actually, we were surprised. We expected to be down quite a bit, but we really hit the target, or we think we're going to hit the target of being able to match up the revenue and the expenses pretty close to that $800,000 to $900,000 range. So revenue, even though it had a big dip at the very beginning of the year right after COVID hit, seemed to jump back up, and it looks like we're going to hit our target by the end of the year. So really pleased about that. As far, and I'll go ahead and dig into this, even though we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about what we did in 2020. As far as the 2021 plans, really not going to change a whole lot. Again, pretty much plan for a break even. What we're going to do, I think, like a lot of your companies, we don't look at doing any travel expenses at the beginning of 2021. Hopefully we'll be doing that again back at the end of the year, and there's obviously value in us as an organization being able to get together, but we're increase the spends in system and IT stuff. That's what we're kind of focusing in on, especially why we're still sitting in our homes and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to give you the general idea of where we stand from a financial. The organization is in good shape from a financial perspective with our limited staff that we have and the money that we put in, but obviously we want to keep that going. So we're funded by our members, and we want to keep that revenue coming on in. Okay, as far as looking at what our strategy was, right, in 2020, and again, without stealing the thunder down the road, you're going to find this to be exactly what we're going to end up kind of focusing in on as well as in 2021. But the idea here that we heard back from our members was, hey, you know, when I go to that directory, I want to be able to see who I can collaborate with, and I want to be able to collaborate with them. So I need you to add more members. And you can see from the membership slide, we've done that, right? I mean, we're approaching now 800 members. Now, not all of them may have a relationship with you, but we've made it very easy for that to happen. So we continue with that. We're looking at adding more members. Really, you as a member can help us do that. If you can let us know, I want this company to be a member, very easy for them to come in under different membership levels. We can get them into the organization. The other piece of this was obviously now that we've got the TSANet Connect platform, let's increase that usage, right? We started out very low, and Paul's going to show you we've seen that increase, you know, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. We want to continue to do that. And there are some things that we're going to focus in on, we think that we can do to make that happen, right? So to continue to increase that usage and become more of a strategic positioning of the TSANet Connect product within the collaboration mechanisms that you have in place. The other thing that we did, and we'll talk about this a little bit, is the regional focus groups. And this has been kind of a surprise for us that we obviously went, like everybody else did, virtual. And we'll go through and talk about each of the focus groups. What we wanted to do was expand our focus groups. And we've done that. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. And then again, that focus back on 2021 and what we want to do from a strategic perspective. Okay. So again, if I go back and look, what we wanted to do was add more members, right? So if you look at here on the chart, you're going to see a breakdown of the members that are currently hosting, the major members that are currently hosting partner programs. We saw a lot of that. That's where a lot of this growth comes in, is companies coming in and saying, I need a relationship with this member. I've got a partner program that I want to do it with. I'm going to create that through TSANet, and then boom, this is the way we're going to set it up and work it. That's where we've got a lot of the new members, but we've created that path. And that has worked, and you can see the major companies that are doing this. We would really like to see this continue for what we're doing right now. This is a mechanism for us to get new members because they come in as limited members, and that, yeah, I need to have a relationship with VMware or Red Hat or Nutanix, whoever it happens to be. And then they find out from another company, well, yeah, they want me to be part of TSANet too. So it's a way for us to then go back to them and say, hey, you know, there's only certain things you can do as a limited member. You can only have certain capabilities as a limited member. Maybe you need to consider upgrading into that. So that becomes quite honestly what we call leads, right? Whereas the classic of getting a lead and turning it into something from just pushing a bunch of emails out doesn't work for us. So this is the way for us to do it, and then we go back and actually rely on our members to be able to help us get those partners in, and it's worked quite well. So we'd like to continue that trend as well. And again, what you're going to see that we found is that we got all these limited members. This maybe is something else that we can do to try to get more attention from them. I think it's been something that we've been kind of looking at. Well, yeah, it's nice to have all these limited members. It's become more of a strategic part of the organization. So you'll see when Paul's going to talk about what we're going to do in 2021 with our limited members. I think you'll see some good stuff happening there. Okay, as far as this, Paul, I'm going to let you turn this over to you and let you run through the Connect timeline.
Great, sounds good. So I think kind of the message on this slide is we're in year 3 as far as TSANet Connect. Obviously, we spent the better part of 2018 developing the system, working very closely with the members. all of 2019 deploying the system. It was done in many different phases. So this year was really, I would say, a key milestone. 100% of the members on the new system, ramping down all the old systems, and really trying to understand how we can increase the usage and adoption on TSANet Connect. This gives you a sense of the volume. You can see here we had some great growth here, from the start of the year up through kind of the summertime. Now I'd say we're kind of fluctuating in the 70-80 range. We're hoping to see that continue to grow here as we get into 2021. You can see the top open group users. We didn't include the limited members, it's kind of focused on the open group. I would say this has not changed over the year. A lot of the members you see here in the top 5 or top 10 were kind of the early adopters as well. So I'd say they're kind of ahead of others as far as getting confidence in the system and kind of building it into their workflows. And I guess my message would be if you're on this call and you don't see your company's name on this list, definitely reach out to me. We've done pretty good as far as doing some analysis with members and trying to understand why they're not using it and putting some actions in place to improve. So definitely reach out if you feel that you could improve in this usage. As far as the TSANet Connect releases, we had 4 of them. We actually plan to have 4 in 2021 as well. And just, these aren't the type of releases where all of the functionality comes in a single day. We do release weekly once something is ready in beta. But I've just kind of highlight the most important things in each release. So the first release we had in the March timeframe brought single sign-on. I would say that's by far the largest feature we had there. But you can see a lot of other working closely with certain members to modify the system to allow them to onboard. The second release was heavily on usability improvements. You can see, as far as volume ramp, right, we started to get some decent usage there. So we took some feedback and did some modifications of the system. And then the September release that really focused on security improvements. Almost all the stuff you see here is related to security. So we had a couple members that certainly their IT group wanted to see penetration testing, wanted to see encryption at rest, all the kind of best practices from an IT security standpoint. So we invested in that area. And then for the last part of this year and kind of moving into 2021, we're kind of focusing on how do we improve the system to bring on some of the remaining members. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in 2021. So you can see some activity here with Microsoft and a few others as well. So that's a view of the releases. If I look at what we've learned and just kind of stepping back in 2020, I think the first one, and this kind of comes up over and over, I think we have a system that the members like. We send out user surveys after usage, and for a good percentage, those are very positive survey responses. If we do get any negative, we follow that up with that, or if we get any feedback on how to improve the system, we certainly take action on that as well. And then whenever we dev on the system, it seems to be well accepted. So I think we've got the right size system and the right usability for what members are looking for. The next largest thing, and I think Dennis would certainly echo this, is finally we have visibility in the collaborations, and that makes a huge difference. First of all, we can help get members connected if they're struggling. So the system monitors the handshake. The system does alert members if something goes wrong, but it also alerts TSANet staff so we can get involved if something goes wrong as well. So this visibility has really helped get the confidence in making sure you get a connection, and it also gives us some data to have conversations with members, where before, it was pretty fuzzy as far as, are you using it, are you not using it, what collaborations took place, what did not take place. This is obviously data is a source of truth, so we now finally have it. And then I think the next two are key to going into 2021. So the first one is we kind of know now that there's things that we can do internally to improve the system, but I think as we go into 2021, there's going to be a lot more working with members to get the usage up. So it's definitely a partnership that needs to take place here. So things like activating single sign-on, obviously it's something we got to work with the members on. Also, if we see non-use and we need to work with members to try to understand why they're not using it, We've done that with a couple of members today so far, and we've found things like legacy processes and things like that in place. So certainly we need to work with members on that. And then I think this is, kind of the thing we need to keep in mind as we move forward. Obviously, you get into year 4 and 5 of the system. Sometimes there's the possibility to want to add new features, functionality, basically make it more complicated. And I think we definitely want to keep this thing simple. We want to keep it very flexible. That's what allowed us to bring on, almost 800 members in a single year. It also what allows us to quickly onboard lots of partners and manage that and keep the system very flexible so that everyone can use it. So I think we need to kind of keep that in the forefront. Okay, so then I think, Dennis, I'll pass it back to you for just kind of a quick tour through some of the focus group activities this year.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. And again, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but one of the things that we've done now for several years is we've had our focus group sessions, and mainly concentrated initially in North America and Europe. That's obviously expanded, and we'll talk about that. But I think the big takeaway here is this has become another big value add to being part of TSANet. And as an example, you can see here, obviously this is, you're going to see some slides here that are pre-COVID, but in Europe, what they've been able to do is through one of our people that we work with over there, Rainer Zalanka, who's based out of Germany, been able to put together a group of people that come in, and they actually are coming in and talking about items. They talk about TSANet as well and multi-vendor support, but they really get into talking about a lot of different things, right? Some of the topics, obviously this year we talked a lot about, how are you handling the COVID issues, right? What are you doing with hiring? How are you doing training? Those kind of things. And the members come in, and it's kind of almost like a train the trainer, or this is what we're doing. And they have discussions. It's been really fantastic, and that Europe group has continued to grow and grow and grow. This year, it just grew virtually, and we've had more and more attendees that are part of it. So it's really good to see that grow even under the COVID influence, and I can't wait to see what happens when we get out of that realm and move back in it. So Europe is going good. Again, any of these focus groups, you're going to find a bunch of stuff on the website. We'll make sure that we get you in touch with whatever you need to do and get you on that list. North America, we had a fantastic meeting at Red Hat right before COVID hit. Thank God we got it in right before COVID hit. But we had some speakers come in and do that. We had a very interactive discussion. I think it was back in February, maybe early March, maybe end of February. I can't remember the exact date. But again, right, a day and a half session that we had through this. We had some consultants come in like Tom Sweeney and Phil Fergus came in and gave great presentations on stuff. And one of the things that came out of that was we started to work with the Association of Support Professionals with Al Hond and his group. And as you probably were aware, that we did a lot of work with them in the fall event when they went virtual. And what we found is there's really good synergy between both the organizations. We don't really compete with each other. We're kind of in different elements of what we do, but we can complement each other quite a bit. So we're looking at doing more work with the ASP group and providing value that they provide in what they do into the TSANet membership, and then a little bit likewise the other way around, right? Where there's a lot of people in ASP don't understand TSANet, we want to get them involved in at least understanding what TSANet is. So you're going to see a little bit more of that coming out next year as well. In India, this has been a group that kind of started out small and then boom, has just kind of exploded. And we've got a lot of key members that are involved in that. And they take a little bit more of a tactical approach to it. We spend a little bit more time with TSANet, getting it more entrenched within their support processes and things like that. They have a tendency a little bit more tactical based as opposed to strategic based on what we do here. But these meetings, and I think we're up to a couple of meetings with them a year. Again, all of these focus groups have continued to go in frequency, and they've all continued to be very well attended. So India is another one that's been doing good. Australia, same kind of thing, a little bit less attended down there, but again, we've got some key people that are involved in this. And actually next year, Paul is going to tell you we're going to look to expanding this one in Australia as well. But again, this has all worked out very well. Networking, getting people together, and there's value in that, and we're happy to be able to provide that. Just got started with Japan, very excited about this. They were talking about some things that we might be able to do that are more Japan-centric from not only a language perspective, but a TSANet Connect perspective. And we're just getting started out there, but they want to continue to up the frequency of doing this more and more often. So it's all good. This expanding our focus groups is something we're gonna really key in on in 2021 as well, because it just makes sense for us to do that. Okay, I think that's it. You want to get into the 2021 stuff, Paul?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to touch base at a very high level on activities going on in 2021. As Dennis indicated, we had these 3 strategy streams, and these were actually the three long-term strategy streams. So for both 2020 and 2021, you can see I kind of changed the order of them a little bit and made one a little larger, and that just highlights a little bit where we're going to spend more of our time and energy. Certainly, we really want to continue to see TSANet Connect adoption increase, and obviously that's measured through usage. But then you'll see some continued activities through both the focus groups and adding more member streams as well. So as we look at TSANet Connect, we have these kind of 3 key things that we feel drives success, which obviously drives usage, right? And the first is when I search for the partner, I find them. You'll find a couple of things that we plan to do for that next year. We do have some enhancements as far as the partner program processes and system features, so enhancing how we onboard some partners, obviously increasing partner program scope. So really that will help get some more partners on the system. We did also in 2020, we added some system analytics, so we plan to leverage that a little bit in 2021 to understand a little bit, are there some search terms people are using that are not resulting in the proper click-through, so are we missing members that way? And then also did members look at certain documents and not click through? So basically trying to understand a little bit if somebody goes into the system and doesn't do a collaboration request, why is that, and is something we could do to improve? The next is when you submit that request, you get the response. I would say if the member is converted to TSANet Connect, that is 100% because we make sure it is. But we do have, actually it looks like about maybe 10 members. Again, keep in mind it's out of 780 some, but we'll have about 10 members exiting 2020 that are still on what we call static process documents. So again, this is a legacy process where the member has to kind of read a set of instructions, maybe call a number, what have you. It's not the TSANet Connect method. So we plan on really spending some time here in 2021 to make sure we bring some of the remaining members over. And then the other is the limited member onboarding process in 2020. That was largely kind of a hands-off automated approach, and we found some issues with that, so we plan to really enhance that and have that be more hands-on. And then a few of these other opportunities that we see for increased use, some basic ones like single sign-on. You know, let's spend some time with members and look at their CRM data. I would say the big one here, and we're starting to kind of scope this, is we see more and more members leveraging AI capabilities within their CRM systems. And we see this as a great opportunity and kind of a pathway to get TSANet Connect more into the workflow, right? So use case such as, engineer working on a case and AI triggers a suggestion to collaborate with particular members. So interesting kind of things like that certainly AI could do to help the usage. So that's 2021 with TSANet Connect. Regional focus groups. Dennis indicated already we plan to spend some more time with ASP. So that was fairly successful online conference. We plan to do a second one in 2021. This one will be more global in nature. If you look at the 2021, it's definitely more North America. So these would be a few changes there. Japan, they really want to have a Japan-specific open group, and obviously our system can do that. That will give them some confidence and really make sure that they collaborate with their peers in Japan. So I think that will really help get the usage up for Japan. And then the last thing we're going to explore is the same thing that the regional focus groups have done for management, right? So it's really kind of focused on management. We want to do kind of a similar thing for engineers. So this is exploring, can we do things such as, online brown bag sessions on technology topics or troubleshooting methodologies or areas of of multi-vendor support challenges, right? So things that we can do to kind of get the engineers more involved outside of the transaction element of TSANet Connect. So that'll be something that I will be communicating more about next year. And then the last area here about adding more members, I think Dennis indicated this as well. You know, 2020 was, you saw the growth in members, and it was purely through partner programs. We don't have a sales team. We don't do direct digital marketing or anything like that. We really focus on our existing members. We try to encourage them to launch partner programs and bring all their partners on, and that's where we get our new members. And we do still see a lot of opportunities for that in 2021. So we'll continue to do that. And then one of the areas that we said we would spend some time on in this strategy round is taking a look at our membership model and maybe more specifically try and understand a little bit that limited member section of our membership, right? As you saw from the pie chart, that's probably easily 20% or more of our members are limited members. So we want to understand how can we give them more value? How can we make them play a larger role within TSANet? I think that brings value to all the members, including limited members. So that's something we'll be exploring in 2021 as well. You won't see any changes there. That'll be something that probably comes in 2022. But again, kind of expect it to be something around improving how we interface with limited members. Okay. And maybe, Dennis, I'll hand it back to you, see if we have any questions or.
Okay, very good, Paul. Thank you. So I don't have anything right now. Let me give everybody just a few seconds here if you want to add something in, or if you have any question or any new business that you would like to bring up before the organization. We've got about another minute here, and then we'll go ahead and shut it down. Let's see if we get anything here. But thanks, Paul. You know, again, right, we're a small organization. We have a lot of fun in what we do with this organization and trying to provide value out to you. So we certainly appreciate your membership in the organization. We want you to keep that going, and again, emphasize that this is your organization, and we try to do within the scope of whatever possibilities are. For what we can do, we try to bring that value to our members. So I don't have anything here, Paul. I think that means we covered it pretty good. Again, Dennis at TSANet.org, Paul at TSANet.org. If you got any questions, again, I want to thank you for joining us today and appreciate your membership. Take care, everybody. Have a good holiday. Bye-bye.